The Bluegrass State. This is Your Two Dads.
Your Two Dads.
Two real dads giving you the real news.
Like Biden's breaking records, y'all. 300,000 people have crossed the border in the last month of the fiscal year 2024. Welcome to America. Welcome to America, all of you. Hola. Well, it's not just Spanish. It would be like you got whatever they speak in Africa and China, Taiwan. So allow me to offer a global, generic in English. Welcome to America, all of you folks that waited in line, and some of you that didn't. Good morning. I'm JJ. That's Deacon.
You're welcoming them here. Look, JJ.
Well, what am I going to do? Look,
JJ
when there's more of them than us,
me.
I don't want to be the one that gets murdered. That's
JJ
all.
is different than me. GTFO. That's an acronym we use over here in America. GTFO. Look that up. That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, I don't know what to do. We've
tried love you, though, JJ.
Yeah. We tried to don't come here. That doesn't seem to work.
I don't love those people, but it's just, I just want you to get the go
to Chicago. Go to Chicago or New York.
Hi, good morning. What's up, dude?
Good morning, sir. I've been up for a minute. Trying to get back into the swing of things. You know, we're going to go back to work. You've been going to work every day for the last, I don't know, 30 years. But I took like a week off of vacation and ran around the state of Texas. So I'm about to go back to work later today. So I've been up getting ready. I'm like, we can do this. We can get this show done. Then I can get to work and I can, I've been trying to gear up. So we got stories locked and loaded. We're going to,
I don't know what to say to that. Good for you, buddy.
I don't know. Hey, if you're watching the show for the first time, don't think that this is a one-off disaster. This is the way it always is. So join us every morning at 8 o'clock, drink coffee, and read the news.
We're not a professional news show. We do not get paid at all. JJ might get paid.
No.
We don't get paid at all. So, and we're just as reliable with the news sources as
equally reliable, maybe a
little more because we are actually telling you the truth, and we don't have anybody telling us what to say and what not to say.
Yes, no three-letter agencies have approached us to try to change what we think the news is yet. With money,
we are monitored by the FBI, and we have been since we had come on the air. We've been monitored by the FBI, and that is not a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to what we normally do before we get started with the news and go to the song of the day. If you look above JJ, there's the Discord server. Go over there. You can see the song of the day category. Go down. You will see the long list of songs that I have added for the song of the day. And the song of the day today is this week we're doing New Year's, Happy New Year songs. And there's a song I bet you've never heard before, Harry Connick Jr. and George Jones on a Harry Connick Jr. holiday album, Nothing New for New Year. I love Harry Connick Jr. I love his southern drawl and his little smooth, buttery voice. I just love he's got a Christmas album that I have to hear like Sleigh Ride and stuff every year because it's so good. His orchestra and his band is so good. I've never got to see Harry Connick Jr. live, but I think it would be great. I think it would be an excellent live concert. So listen to the Harry Connick Jr., George Jones, Nothing New for New Year. It's kind of like a love song there for the new year. I've got, what is today? Tuesday. I got 3 more for you coming up.
Oh, yeah. 3 more New Year's songs. Starting the year festively, starting the year on the right foot. What'd you say?
Just starting the year with songs about the new year. And change, not change, but the new I got 3 more.
Do you know what? What my first thought of Harry Connick Jr. is when you bring him up as your artist today?
What?
Copycat, 1995. He played the bad guy in a slasher flick. I think it had maybe Jamie Lee Curtis in it. I don't know. Did it have Jamie? No, it had Sigourney Weaver and Holly Hunter.
Hunter? She was in that? Oh, well, she's got a little bit of a southern drawl, too.
That's
my favorite
literally
Holly
probably the only time I've seen Harry Connick Jr. in anything, including
Oh
music.
no, he was in he was a regular in some I can't remember that TV show about the gay dudes. Whatever it was on NBC, the one that was big for a long time. I just remember he was a regular in that. What was the
Oh,
one about
really?
the gay guys? I don't remember.
Uh,
It was huge. It was a big, huge show. It was on for several seasons on NBC with the woman, the two women, and the two men. The two guys were gay. And it had Jack, the one guy that was the real flamboyantly gay. You don't remember that? I don't care.
Maybe
Anyway,
I didn't watch
Harry
as much
Connick
gay
Jr.
shows.
is he's been in movies. He's really good.
Yeah, he's like an artist that's in multiple genres. Like he legitimately musician.
If you've only seen him in movies and stuff, I highly recommend.
Oh, I know he's good.
His Christmas album. He's got a Christmas album. Connick Jr. Christmas. He's got a Christmas album that's freaking great. And it's called When My Heart Finds is that it? When My Heart Finds Christmas is the name of the album.
I think I've heard some other Harry Connick Jr. I mean, obviously you can't not hear some of them, but
he's all some big posing. Ones. He's all posing by a fire with a red shirt on. It's fabulous. You want a good Christmas album you can put on in your house during Christmas and just have it. I mean, it's fucking great. Sleigh Ride is one. It's one that I have to hear every year for Christmas. And I'm not a big Christmas person. All right, let's go. Let's
Well, hey, you know what? We're leaving music. We're going into the news, but I was going to ask you, did you see the story about Green Day at the New Year's performance? Did you see that story?
I just
thought you would have an opinion.
I was looking at X last night, and that story came up, and I showed Ashley, and she just kind of smirked. Because the X post was from a liberal, and they were like, right-wing Republicans are freaking out that Green Day said this.
Who is surprised? Who of you are surprised? This band's launched with a song about jerking off. So,
God, something I had a weird noise that's going on outside. It's freaking me out.
Maybe it's a raccoon.
Yeah, and that's what it was. That's what the X post said. It was like, right when Republicans are freaking out, blah, 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 blah. And I posted on there. I did reply to this one. I rarely reply to stuff like that to pick fights and whatnot. And I replied, ... We've known this for years. I think it's funny that you young people are just figuring this out, thinking it's a global revelation when I haven't spent my money and have criticized Billy Joe Armstrong since the day they came out. Do they write catchy songs? Absolutely they do. But I can write you a catchy song. We've got an experiment going on right now. All right. Yeah. I've got a musical experiment going on right now. That's all I'm going to say. But Green Day plays, they got popular on 3 chords is the joke. And it really is like 3 or 4 chords is all they play.
Isn't that all that's required for it to be in a rock and roll band?
And they're just like Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
People were surprised. Republican people, conservative people were surprised. Zach De La Rocca and Tom Morello both went to Harvard. Their name is Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Listen to the lyrics of their songs. Listen to them. Instead of just repeating what they're saying, listen to the meaning. I mean, we were young. What were we? 16, 17, 18 when Rage Against the Machine came out. And that was completely different than anything on the radio at the time.
Sure.
Tom Morello's little guitar playing was like, what's he doing? What is that? It was completely unlike anything. And we were liberal children, just like all the children today are.
So just to just to put some context on what we're talking about here
Okay,
for the
you wanna
moment.
play it?
Green,
No, we can't play it.
yeah. No,
No,
we
we
could
can't play that.
It's like 6 seconds of it. We could play.
No, I don't even want to try that. Don't even
All
try.
right.
Don't even.
So during the New Year's bash, Green Day was live on ABC, and those rebels, those rebellious rascals,
49-year-old children.
they changed like 3 words of their song American Idiot to say, I'm not a part of the MAGA agenda. So they took a giant spotlight moment to be like, we're not part of that. And to which nobody was like, oh, that's shocking. Oh.
If you are one of those conservatives that this really, grinds your gears and just rubs you the wrong way, we need you to go step back into the back. Please. Just go to the back. We don't need you up front. Please, just go to the back.
You cannot be letting Green Day dictate your political affiliations. You're making all the wrong choices in life.
And then after that damn clip, I want you to know after that damn clip, because I showed Ashley and she was like, I read that story, but I didn't hear it. And we played the clip where he was, and she was, and we talked about it. And then she walked into the kitchen and I was actually playing Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation, and I was playing Spider-Man 2. And all of a sudden I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I start singing it and she goes, huh? And I'm like, damn it.
They got you
now.
They programmed you.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids, young people. Yeah. Elon Musk made fun of them. Whatever. It's Green
What
Day.
does he say? Green Day goes from, I missed it.
Oh, he goes from raging against the machine to milk toastedly raging for it.
Yeah, that's what's funny. Is Rage
funny.
Against the Machine went from raging against the machine to working for the machine.
Yeah, they
need to change their name to Working for the Machine.
Part of the machine.
Of the machine.
What record label have they been with for the last 30 years?
Oh, wait a minute. Who have they?
Is that a good question? Do you think you can answer that question?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think back if I can remember the stamp on the side of the cassette tape that I had, because they've been around so long that it was on magnetic tape.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I had the Green Day cassette tape.
Epic.
Yeah,
gosh, we should have known that. Epic.
Yeah, you guys are really out there on the edge, Green Day.
I'm not saying that Tom Morello and Zach De La Roca are very smart guys. I'm not going to
surely they are
disparage them. They're very.
You cannot be a national
success
for decades without having enormous talent and being smart.
But I've listened to them in interviews where they've talked about stuff, and they are very educated guys. Even though they have different opinions than me, I'm not going to.
I misspelled my name. Look how smart I am. And I'm Steamboat.
Freaking Rage Against the Machine is one of the. I mean, that music is top notch. Oh man, top tier.
You can be enormously talented and wildly intellectual and wrong on things.
With what they believe in. I disagree with what they stand for now, but I'm not going to. They're great.
I just thought tossing you that Green Day story would be kind of interesting. Let me change gears here. Let's talk about other people that break enormous records. So we're going to celebrate, I guess, the Biden administration, as they have broken a massive record with over 300,000 immigrant encounters at border control at the U.S.-Mexican border in December. Congratulations, 300,000.
Way to go!
How big is your city there? In your area, you got kind of a city area there.
Let me see. In my city, the city that I live in, was born and raised in.
Yeah.
As of the 2021
census,
There were 4,763 people.
Oh, that seems like that's close to 100 times as many people as live in your city.
Hang on. So in the county, there's 31,000. So let's go by my county. There's almost 32,000. That's 10 times
Yeah.
the amount of people that's in my county alone.
Well, Deke, you live in a little tiny place, right?
I do live in a small town. I've always lived in a small town.
Yeah. I live in a pretty major suburb.
Yeah.
On the outskirts of a major U.S. city. I live just north of Houston. I live in Spring, Texas, and there's 65,000 people that live in this city.
Oh wow!
So,
your city is double my whole county. Yeah,
and yet more migrants have crossed than like maybe four of my cities. Let's see, 120. Yeah, at least 4 or 5. Yeah. So good job, Joe. Good job, Joe.
Hey, I mean, I don't see anything negative coming out of this, JJ. Don't you want these people to have a good life?
They're gonna. No, you know what they'll do? They'll be like
to have the American dream with the streets paved of gold and be able to go out and just pick up gold from the streets.
Every country should have streets made of gold, but not everybody should live in one country. Not everybody on the whole planet should live in one country. I think every country should.
I mean, China and India feels that way. So I mean,
yeah. So this is the fiscal. These numbers come from the Customs and Border Protection, where it looks like a source of the inside the organization leaked out that something like 302,000 encounters were recorded in December, and that is larger than the previous high record, which was 269,000, which was set in September. So that would say, I don't know if that breaks just the record for the year or the record ever, but I think it's just the record for the year. So anyway, congrats, Joe. You know what? I got curious this morning. I went over to the Border Patrol website, and I was like, you guys have to have data that I can see how many people have how many encounters there have been, right?
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and I found that. Let me see if I can show you this. This is not going to be super interesting, but I'll just show you guys for a second.
I actually think it kind of is. So honestly,
so check this out.
This numbers on this
I pulled this data from Border Patrol. This is actual data, and then I did a little table of it. In 2021, there were 1.9 million encounters, just encounters. That's not everybody that comes across. That's just the ones we caught, y'all. And then of those, 27,000 were from the northern border, and 1.7 million were in the southern border. So that was in 2021. And then you see in 2022, there was 2.7 million. 2023, there's 3.2 million. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So the numbers are climbing, and then fiscal year 2024 is not turned in yet. But as you can see, it looks like more and more and more people by the millions are coming into the country and being encountered in the country. So if we encountered 8.5 million, how many do you think we did not encounter?
So this makes me I just had like a little revelation.
Oh, I didn't show you. I thought I showed you.
No. Just had a revelation there leaning back in my seat right there. This makes me anxious. Okay.
Yeah.
You reading that and me actually thinking about it makes me anxious. It makes my,
uncomfortable.
My pulse may increase a little bit, but it just makes me anxious thinking about it. So what was my personal natural reaction to that anxious feeling is the thought that went through my head was, I wish JJ would change the subject. I'm done listening. And then I immediately, no. All
right.
Then I immediately thought, that's exactly what they want to happen. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to listen to this because I thought about my dad. When I try to talk to my dad about anything political, anything
Yeah.
for decades, I get this exact same response. Oh, bub, I don't know anything about that. That's what I get all the time.
I mean, if it, I mean, I'm not insulting anybody, but if it isn't exactly the cartoon of what is an ostrich putting its head in the sand, like dude, we're facing a massive disaster to the point where entire populations of certain places are going to be displaced by other populations, and eventually that's not only going to have political ramifications. You can see right now in Chicago and New York, they're complaining about their facilities being overrun. It's going to cost the taxpayers money. I mean, what happens
at
is
the time it was out of sight, out of mind. It was not in their city, but they joined the Instagram political society and was like, this is what we believe in. And then when it gets put in front of them and they have to deal with it, they don't want to deal with it. It's all out of sight, out of mind. There's a great scene in this movie, this Leonardo DiCaprio movie called The Beach. If you've never seen The Beach, it's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. And there's a great scene in that movie where one of the tribe's people gets bitten by a shark, and he's laying in the building where they sleep and stuff, and he's just moaning and hurting and moaning for like 2 or 3 days because he's hurting so bad, and it's making everyone else in there uncomfortable. So they move him to the middle of the woods against the protests of some of the people and whatnot, and Leonardo DiCaprio's. But it was all that he noticed that everybody went back to normal. They were playing volleyball and fishing and doing their stuff because out of sight, out of mind. He was still suffering. He was just suffering away from them, and they couldn't hear it anymore and see him anymore. It was a very powerful scene.
Wow.
I mean, and that's what I mean. It's out of sight, out of mind. If you're not looking about it, you're not thinking about it, you're not educating yourself about it, you're not going to think about it.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie. That sounds interesting.
It's a wonderful movie. He's a young backpacker that is sick of going to all of these cities, and they're all the same. Hotels, tourists, no matter where you go, Hawaii, the Bahamas, whatever, it's all the same. And he's searching for the perfect
so he's
getaway. And so there's this legendary,
chasing the dragon, I guess.
There's a legendary beach that it's whispered, and you've got to go through and do this. And he finds it. And when he goes there, he finds a whole group of people that were just like him looking for this place. They found the place and they decided to live here. And it's the political infighting from the island and the beach. Wonderful movie. It's got Tilda Swinton. That was the first movie I ever saw her in.
Robert Carlyle, who's one of my favorite actors. Robert Carlyle's in it.
That's a great movie, dude. That's a great movie, The Beach. If you've never seen that, I highly recommend
I'm honestly going to put it on my list of how to watch this. I'll figure that out later. I'm going to not close that tab. Okay. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Let's get rid of the border. Now it didn't happen. We got rid of Green Day. Now that didn't happen either. This is easy. Hey, I know you don't know a whole lot about this, and I know that you may not have a strong opinion, but have you been, but I don't know if you've been on Twitter and maybe saw some of these memes. Have you heard of the Argentinian president, Milei? So you may have he may have crossed your radar, folks. This guy right here, President Milei, is bringing a chainsaw to Argentina's regulatory state. You can look this dude up on videos on YouTube, and you can see him giving interviews and stuff. He is a libertarian, which means that he does not believe in government using its powers to control the economy or anything else. He wants as small a government as possible. And Argentina has a massive bureaucratic state. This guy was elected by the people of Argentina to bring that to its knees, and he's doing it. So you can check this guy out on YouTube, and you can find videos of him being interviewed. Now, it'll be all in like Argentinian or whatever language they speak, but there's always subtitles, and you can read what he's saying. He's fast. He thinks. He's got answers for stuff. And he's been president for like 18 or 19 days. And in the last 18 or 19 days, you can find these posts on Twitter that he has like fired like 2/3 of government or something like that, like a crazy number of downsizing, massive downsizing. Let me pull up Twitter real quick and look it up. Twitter. Let me see. But I notice, and again, I am no Argentinian political expert or whatever, but I noticed that there's a lot of people that are not in Argentina that are celebrating Milei, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. And there are not a lot of people that I can tell in Argentina that are necessarily doing the same thing. So the immediate repercussions of dismantling the bureaucratic state are that there's instability. So he's like fired a bunch of government workers. He's closed a bunch of regulations or whatever, and he's added Bitcoin as a legitimate way to do commerce in Argentina. And there was a couple of other things. Yeah,
that's a little Illuminati.
No. No, he's privatized national business. So Argentina had the oil industry was nationalized, was owned by the state. He's privatizing this stuff. So a bunch of these national companies he's sending to the capitalist work. He's like, you guys just take care of it, not nationalize. You make a private company, just you handle it, and trusting that the powers of capitalism will even things out, right? Yeah. And by decentralizing money, by taking the government out of the money supply, you can get the government thumb off the scale and get them to stop shifting the prices of goods. So there's going to be instability for a while, and then things are going to reach a new decentralized kind of homeostasis. Anyway, this guy is like the dream. If you're like small government, this is exactly what you want him to do. Come in with a machete and just destroy everything, and then let it grow on its own.
Every time that's tried to happen throughout history and all these little governments that you really don't hear about in history classes, is that they get assassinated, or they get a heart attack, or their plane goes down, or their helicopter explodes. I mean,
that is exactly the thing I'm worried about.
It's exactly what happens with these.
Here we go. Here's one. I found one. Check this out. I'm going to show you this, and then we'll move on. How do I? This thing, and then this thing over here. Restream. I just love how difficult.
I know it's so easy now with this new way. We used to just have to click one button. Now we have to click 6.
Yeah, let me click here. Let me push this. Stand on one foot. 18 days ago, he was inaugurated as the president of Argentina. Since then, eliminated 12 out of 21 cabinet posts. That's half, more than half the presidential cabinet. Fired 5,000 government employees. Ended 380,000 government regulations. He banned woke language in the military. So you're not going to be like captain, officer, he, him, they, theirs, is, was, were. He's proposed a bill to affirm the right of self-defense, a bill to legalize homeschooling of children. He's proposing punishment for riot organizers that bring weapons into protests and cause shit to go bad. Future welfare cuts for road blocking, legalized paying contracts in Bitcoin, privatizing state-run industries, and opening up the Argentinian oil industry. So this dude is like an Uber Chad.
And he's got a beautiful hair helmet.
Amazing. It's unreal.
As a man that is bald, that is a beautiful head of hair. I would wear that proudly.
Not even the best. If you just get any photo of him in you could find it oh my God, here's one right here. Let me go back to this.
Yeah, let's look. Because I love
look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That. This is the dude's a president of Argentina. He's like, I don't care. It's just gonna grow wild.
Dude, that's so I would too. I would just
look at him. Look at it. Look at this. Look at these chops he's got on the side.
Fake. It looks like he can reach and pull that sucker right off his head. And he's an old bald guy like me.
He's just straight screaming at somebody. Pedacito. Here he is on a plane.
Honestly, if that is a wig and a big fat wig,
I think it's real.
I
Look at it.
respect him more for just being like, I don't.
How do you get that much volume? How do you get that much lift out of your hair?
I wonder if he just wakes up and does that, or if he actually
shakes
has
it
a
off.
hairdresser that makes it look like he just woke up. And she's like,
I don't know.
that shit. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I
Okay, so that is Argentinian President Emilio. I thought that might amuse you. Okay,
yeah, I got one for you,
Yes, sir.
This was a story that just came out yesterday. All right.
Yeah.
It's our buddy Vladidoo. He
says, Putin.
I'm not done with the pew-pews. I'm going to have more pew-pews in Ukraine. Oh, I'm trying to scroll on the wrong one. I'm trying to scroll on the wrong.
Yeah.
President Vladipoo has pledged to intensify attacks against Ukraine following days of aerial bombardment by both sides of the long-running war. He was talking, during a visit to a military hospital in Moscow. He said the military would continue targeting Ukrainian military installations. And he said a bunch of propaganda type stuff, but he said, he ain't done. Vladdy don't have a good head of hair. He's really trying. That looks like me if I continued to grow what I had left and just tried to do the comb over. He's got a pretty sad comb over.
I mean, at what point do you give up and just go full bald? I don't know.
I had to, man. I mean, it was me and Ashley talked about it. I've seen videos where these guys will go in, and the barbers will do the little. You probably hadn't seen it, but they'll draw these things around the hair and they'll cut and do this, and then they've got a hair piece that they like glue on,
right?
And then they cut the hair piece and stop, and by the time it's done. It looks real, and you can grab it and pull it and get it wet, and it looks so real. And I told Ashley, I was like, we were talking just the other night at Christmas, and I said, I don't like being bald. I used to have long hair. I used to have a big head of hair. I don't like being bald. I was like, if I could do that, I would do that. We were just sitting around the Christmas table with the family, and my oldest daughter looks over at me. She's 18, and she goes, I don't want you with hair. And I was like, why? I used to have hair. I would love to have hair again. I'd like to have hair. And she was like, no, I've never known you with hair, and you would look completely different. And I love you bald, and I don't want and that really struck me. I was like, wow, I'm being selfish for wanting hair.
What you want is your youth back, Deacon. You're not looking at it right. And I mean, like the hair is like, oh, that's a physical, tangible thing. But you really want to remember when I was young. That's what you remember. And I know that because I am like you, a little bit middle age, we'll say. And I have tried to grow my hair out because I used to have long hair before the army, and then afterwards, at some point, I was like, I'm gonna just grow it out a little bit, and it got like not so long, and I was like, I can't do this, dude. I look like a fool. I look like a 50-year-old rock star that's just absolutely living in denial. You don't really want that.
No. I've said that before when Kendra was like, I'm gonna go get you some if I see any pants at the Goodwill, I'll get them for you. And I'm like, all right, I'll wear a size 34. And she was like, I always go,
skater pants.
Do not get me any pants that will make me look like an old guy trying to look like a young kid. I don't want 20-year-old pants. I want 50-year-old guy pants. Okay. I don't want the baggy. I don't want that. I want just regular, go to Walmart and get me
regular 505s or
just
Wranglers.
Give me some Levi's, some Wranglers or something. I'm cool with those. Those are the best.
Dude, let's not do anything exaggerated.
All right. I don't want to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein crap. I've got a couple.
I don't either. I don't really honestly, it seems like a big nothing burger because there's nothing. They're like, oh, we already know this. Don't we already know all this?
You're exactly right. And that's what I was going to say. The stuff that they're saying is breaking news, that all this stuff is coming out. I read and then looked it up again. It's stuff that was released during that Maxwell trial for whatever her name is. Ghislaine or Ghislaine. Or
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I don't know how to say it. Bitch.
Child predator.
Yes. I don't care how to say her name.
Ring.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring up
throwing on the air.
I'm gonna bring up Mickey Mouse here, folks. it's been 95 years since Steamboat Willie first aired and launched the largest media empire company maybe in the history of the world. Steamboat Willie is now in public domain. It's been 95 years since this thing launched, and Disney and these other companies, they fought these public domain laws for a long time to stretch them out and make them longer and longer. And now it's in the public domain. And the result is that there's going to be new projects based on the original Steamboat Willie. That's all you have access to. You don't have access to like any of the other characters. You don't have Donald or Pluto or Minnie Mouse. And I know a lot of people are thinking like, so what? Who cares? What about these characters? These characters are massive, massive intellectual property. The fact that Steamboat Willie is now part of public domain means that anybody can make anything and it connected to that character.
Disney, you can look this up. I don't know the specifics on this, but Disney lobbied Congress for years.
Oh yeah,
getting the copyright laws stretched out for as long as they could because of this, because they did not want Mickey Mouse to become public domain. And this is kind of
it's right there. It's right there. 1998 Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act was passed.
Yeah.
Extending copyright protections for 20 years, 20 extra years.
That was because Disney lobbied so hard. And this is why it's only Steamboat Willie and it's only certain animation from Steamboat Willie and certain stuff, because that's how they got around this law. There was a radio trade paper called Radio and Records. It's online now, but it used to be a magazine, a big magazine. It was big. It came in the radio stations. And there was a story. I used to read it every month. And there was a story in there one time I remember about a daycare. They were talking about copyright laws is what the story was talking about. And it was talking about a daycare that was in Florida that was a huge daycare making lots of money. And they had a huge mural of Disney characters on the wall. And Disney sued them.
Right.
And made them take down these Disney characters that they had copyrights on. Like they have copyrights on Peter Pan, but it's the Disney version of Peter Pan, because Peter Pan is not a Disney story.
Right.
It's a story that, like a bunch of them that you don't know, like Frozen is not a Disney created story. It's an old Swedish fairy tale, you know, and they take things like Rapunzel. That version of Rapunzel is, but you can have Rapunzel on your wall. So Disney sues the hell out of people. Has always.
Pretty litigious.
So I would not be surprised if there is stuff coming out immediately because of this.
Oh, there's definitely stuff. Deke, if you wanted, you can make a Dungeons and Dragons book about Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie? Okay.
Just put that in your docket of books you're working on.
I'll write that down in my idea book.
So we got a couple. I saw this one first the other day, but we've heard about the movie for a while. But I saw this. There's a. Yeah, you don't know about the movie? Yeah, there's a movie. We'll do the movie first. So here we go. On the same day that the public domain, that it went into public domain, a trailer for the Mickey Mouse slasher film dropped. So this is pretty great. I'm actually going to play the trailer, and because you think like, well, is it going to be like a big production or I don't know. Let's find out. But this is the. I don't know what the name of the movie is, but it's a slasher horror movie based on Steamboat Willie.
These are the best party that we can throw.
It already looks like a cheap, looks like Scream 1 or lower production quality. That's okay.
All over the jungle gym.
What? Oh,
she's lost.
Is she like 30? What kind of teenager is that?
The music drags.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Oh, there's a Steamboat Willie projecting, and there's a little book. I mean, they're straight putting it in the movie.
That's a cool little
Yeah.
visual effect there. I actually like that.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
like completely in love with me already. It's totally disgusting.
Oh no.
Yeah, right.
That's why girls, you never walk alone because Mickey Mouse could kill your ass.
Look at that right in the back. Do you see him? Oh,
yeah.
I'll be right back.
Steamboat Willie.
And he's dead.
Uh-oh.
That's called
Like if he was in a horror
foreshadowing.
movie,
This is
you never
the
say,
worst
"I'll be
delivery.
right back,"
This is terrible.
because then you don't.
Looks like me. Oh, it's the haunted Steamboat Willie mask.
Yeah. It's all distorted.
Some guy a long time ago took that mask and killed a bunch of kids in that carnival. Now that guy's possessed with his soul.
Oh, is that-
or it's his grandson, and now he feels like compelled because he found the mask.
Mickey's Mousetrap. That's pretty funny. The mouse is out.
Out.
Yeah.
Mouse.
So that's the come on. Get out. So that's a slasher movie based on Steamboat Willie. There's nothing Disney can do about it. Not at all.
But you know what's sad is if that comes on Prime, if I see that on Prime, I'm going to put it on my list right next to
And- Yeah, I know, man.
And it's going to
I
sit there
know.
next to Velocipaster for years, and I'm
Yeah.
never going to take it out of my list because I want to
Or-
watch it, but I'm never going to watch it.
Or you'll turn it on and you'll watch like 3 minutes and be like, this is fun, but I got like something else to do, and you'll back.
I made that
and then it
joke.
just
I made that joke with some buddies of mine one time, and all of them laughed, or two of them laughed because they both had Velocipaster.
I have it in my list right now. It's in my list. It's been there for probably 3 years. I think I tried to watch it and I was like, oh God, this is terrible.
Oh, I saw that come up, and I watched the trailer, and I thought, "Yep, saving that one."
So I don't know how big of an impact a slasher film based on Steamboat Willie will have on the consciousness of the American public, but
Yeah,
this is not 1923. This is 2024 now, Deke. 2024, and the type of things that influences kids is actually games. So check this out. I saw this floating around. Look at this. Maybe I should turn the sound back up a little bit. Look at
this is
watch.
cool.
Yes, look at
Yeah, I played
this.
this.
Get that trailer in just 2 seconds.
Oh, somebody's talking here. That guy's got to be quiet. I mean, so this little trailer for this game's been floating around. It's this is like workshopping stuff or whatever. You can see they're doing tests or whatever,
they're doing
graphics tests.
Yeah, this is,
But if you watch, it's like look how clever this is. You got like a kind of a 3D world, and then you have a cartoon body, and there's more to it here. Look at this.
love it.
It's got like a little cartoon Tommy gun, a cartoon like revolver, very Roger Rabbit-esque. You know what I mean?
I'll play this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that horror movie, it'll get an hour and a half of your life, but this could actually get hours and hours and hours of your life.
Can you imagine an online game with this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely, you can. And there was one part in here where he's like, it's literally just a finger gun. And it was so funny. So let's see, let me skip forward a little bit. Oh, here he's throwing. He's
over and over
just,
again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's throwing dynamite. All right. Anyway, so I just thought that's pretty like that. That is how you take public domain and like reinvigorate it. And I don't know. Do you think that this kind of thing damages Disney at all?
No.
All right.
No, it's actually good for Disney. If I was one of Disney's
Probably.
freaking advisors, I'd be like, this is people are going to play this Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie game, and then they're going to go out and they might make a few dollars up, but it's not going to take
Yeah.
away from anything that were. How much money were they making off Steamboat Willie? Now
Probably-
that Steamboat Willie
right.
is going to be in this, that's going to cause people to be like, I like this. I'm going to go to the Disney store. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. So it might actually increase sales.
I mean,
on certain
for the last
aspects.
50 years of the last 100, they've probably only ever used Steamboat Willie as like archive footage, like 3 seconds that they stick into some other documentary and like, oh, with Walt Disney launched with this cartoon. You see like, you see him twisting the wheel and then whistling, and like that's all you ever see of it.
That whole cartoon.
No. And it's probably only like a minute long or something.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple here for you if you don't have anything else.
All right. I'm pretty much done. I do need to mention this. Apparently, we started 2024 with a bang. Okay. It was like an earthquake in Japan, 7.5.
Big one. Yeah, good.
Big nasty earthquake. The South Korean contender for leadership. So like, I guess like not the sitting party, but maybe out of party candidate, stabbed in a press conference in the neck, but nobody's saying he's dead. So I'm assuming he's still alive. And we had a jet plane burst into flames in an airport, shutting down an entire airport. So 2024 is off to a start. Oh, and there's a hypersonic missile that Russia is using hypersonic missiles to blow up buildings in Kyiv. Hypersonic. I don't know what that means other than fast.
Super.
Okay.
It's hyper fast, man.
It's really fast missiles.
Really fast, and it makes sound. All right, I've got a cool story for you here, man. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna really like this one. I saw this. I saved it immediately to tell you on the show. So, did you collect baseball cards as a kid?
For like, my brother did. My brother did, and I was there, so I'd be like, "Oh, I'll buy a pack." And then I was like, "I don't know who any of these people are. I don't watch it."
I remember my cousin sat down after I'd bought a bunch because I wanted to be like him, and he put all my cards and told me what was right. And I was into baseball cards for a little bit, but it seems like every little boy is into some sort of cards for a little bit in their life, and some people get into it more. Like the boy in our next story, Ed. Okay. When Ed was a little boy, he loved baseball cards. He would collect them. He would get them from family members, and he would store them in a tin box, a little tin box that he had. And he had all of his baseball cards that he looked at. He didn't keep them pristine, but he stored them in his box and whatnot. As Ed got older, he had children. And then Ed grew to a ripe old age of 80 or 90, and he passed away.
Okay, really? So,
that's terrible. So Ed passed away, lived a long life, and his son was cleaning out Ed's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was cleaning out the attic, and he ran across this old tin cigarette box. And so he opened the tin cigarette box, and this is what he saw inside the tin cigarette box.
Oh, my goodness. Those look very old.
Oh, Lordy. So inside the tin cigarette box were 400 or more old baseball cards that Ed had collected. Babe Ruth, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Ty Cobb, all of these tobacco type cards. His son John says that he remembered on rare occasions when his father would show him the cards, but he said, I was like elementary school age. So after his death, they were cleaning out the home and preparing it for a sale. And he said his father was a part of the Depression. He grew up in the Depression. And those Depression people didn't throw away anything. They kept everything.
Right.
So John, whose full name is being withheld by this auction place, like he said, I couldn't believe what was inside.
Pre-war.
600 pre-war baseball cards, which were well preserved inside the tin.
Look at the color. Look at the color on those things.
In addition, Ruth Cobb and Shoeless Joe Jackson, the collection included Hall of Famers Walter Johnson, Christy Mathewson, several cards from the infamous 1919 Chicago Black Sox team. The cards range from 1919 to 1926. many of which belong to a rare set of Z-Nuts cards that were distributed exclusively on the West Coast. Z-Nuts were a 1920s era treat made of popcorn, peanuts, and coconut. The cards, which were given out as a purchase of a snack, were by far the complex minor league. They were super rare. I've never even heard of those. They think these cards will estimate in the high six figures. There was like 4 or 5 Babe Ruths in there. That's crazy.
Wow. I mean, look, they look beat up, but they're also like 80 years old or 100 years old or something.
100 years old or
100 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, kids back in like the 50s, that when they had baseball cards, this is way older than that. Kids in the 50s would stick them in their bicycle spokes.
My dad told me that exact story. He used to say that there was a little shop that was across the street from their school, and at recess they would run over to the shop and buy a pack of baseball cards because the gum was the size of the baseball card back then, was the same size as the card, and they would chew the gum. And he said, I put baseball cards in my spokes. He said, I remember doing that. So I was like, thanks for preserving your children's future.
So this guy's obviously going to auction these things off, right? Because they are
they're going
little or no sentimental value, really. Maybe a little bit, but really like the fiscal value of these things for him.
If my dad had 600 pre-war 100-year-old baseball cards, I'd be like, sell that shit. I got a picture for sentimental value. The sentimental value will be that new car that Dad helped me buy. Is what the sentimental value is. I'm gonna pay off the house.
Can't hug Dad through these cards, so I'm just gonna remember Dad.
I've got another
that's
story.
pretty cool.
We can save the other story for tomorrow.
Yeah, are we out of time? We're getting close to there. Man, I need to put this beach movie on my list. Add to watch list. Put it on my watch
okay,
list.
we'll do this. This is an interesting story. Since we're talking about the beach, maybe you see a whale. Scientists had a 20-minute conversation with this recent whale named Twain. So this is interesting. Whale SETI is an actual group. Whale Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence has been conducting research on the humpback whale communication systems. So scientists from the SETI Institute, the University of California, Davis, and Alaska Whale Foundation made a breakthrough, they think. Using recorded humpback contact call played into the sea through an underwater speaker, scientists were amazed as Twain approached and circled their boat, responding in this conversational manner to the whale's greeting signal. Through the 20-minute exchange, they say Twain consistently matched the interval variations between each playback call. They were like mimicking each other. They would play, hi, JJ, and he would say, hi, JJ. Is what they were doing.
It was being curious a little bit. Like, what is this?
Yeah. The behavior observed in humpback whales supports an important assumption in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He explains, because of current limitations on technology, important assumption of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is that extraterrestrials will be interested in making contact and so target human receivers. This important assumption is certainly supported by the behavior of humpback whales. Yeah, I mean, it's I had it explained to me one time about the extraterrestrial contact crap that they were talking about it. And I had it explained to me one time like this, and I've always liked this. The ants in your yard have their whole world, and they go about their whole world doing their whole thing, and they never know you exist.
They don't care. It doesn't matter.
You exist. And you might sit there all day long and watch the ants and study the ants and know exactly what every ant does and how that whole society, but that ant don't know you fucking exist.
Right.
You don't know you're sitting there watching him, and he don't know that anytime you could step on his anthill and kill him. So what's the difference? And that's why, I mean, we're ants.
Maybe. Yeah. When you started reading that about the whale interacting with them, I was thinking, like, how large is a whale brain? You always remember back in school, they would be like, dinosaurs had a brain the size of a walnut. They're dumb. They're dumb. And, we're smarter. I looked it up. A humpback whale has a brain that is 8,000 cubic centimeters. Now, that doesn't really mean a lot to me because what does that mean? Well, you have a brain of 1,300 cubic centimeters. So it's like 6 times larger than your brain. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe not 6, maybe like 4, 5, maybe. So those humpback whales, they're trapped in the ocean with like, doing whatever whales do. But
Trapped.
they could be
Takes up
like, where are they going to go?
70% of this freaking earth. They're not.
Yeah,
we're
that's true.
trapped
Yeah,
on
but
land.
I mean, like,
we're
yeah, but
trapped
it's
on
like-
land.
and then all the same, it's just like ocean and there's fish and plankton and some like stuff to eat or whatever.
What's going to eat a humpback whale? They have no predators.
Stuff for them to eat. There's just stuff for
Oh.
them to eat.
They fucking
So
have
they're
evolved
just-
to eat this tiniest little microorganisms and stay alive. Of course,
Okay,
they're
so
smarter than
I'm
us.
over here thinking like, well, they don't have literature, they don't have culture, they don't have philosophy, they don't have history.
How do
But maybe
you
they
know?
do. And maybe they do. Maybe
That's
they
right.
do.
How do you know? It wasn't until like 20 years ago that we didn't realize that elephants talk to each other all the time. Our shitty ass ears don't pick up that low volume, so we
Right.
don't hear it, but our
I mean-
technology picks it up. And we're like, what is that? And we started looking and amplifying it so that we could actually hear it and hear
Yeah.
it. And holy crap, the elephants are constantly talking to each other and whatnot. It's just that we got the shit into the stick when it comes to ears, eyes, and nose. Humans have shitty eyes, shitty nose, and shitty ears. We have
Right.
thumbs. We traded that for thumbs and a,
It makes
and a
all the
frontal
difference.
cortex.
Makes all the difference though. These things work really well. That's why we can sit here and talk across the internet, and some cousins of ours can be out there in a boat and turning humpback whales into candle fat or candle candle fuel or something. There was a story. Yeah, I know, it's so grim. Maybe tomorrow we'll bring up that Neanderthal story I dropped somewhere yesterday. We might actually be Neanderthals, Deke. Maybe
Okay.
I am. Maybe let's see. Can you get a profile? What do you think? Do I have Cro-Magnon brow?
Yes, you do.
I might be a Neanderthal. Okay. Well, it's joke time at the end of our show every single day. For all of you tens of viewers, we like to end our show in the most Your Two Dad way possible, which is with a joke. Deacon, why did the cowboy give a pony a cough drop?
Because it was a little horse.
Oh, yes. Stop.
Thank you. I'm in the mid-20s.
Yeah, that was good. You're
All right, I'm
you're
going to
beating me.
let you choose today. Do you want the smarty pants joke
Oh.
or the silly joke?
I'm gonna go smarty pants joke because I think of myself as such a smart person. I'm immediately gonna guess the answer.
Okay. All right.
Don't
So
disappoint us.
Ashley asked me the other day if I wanted to come jump on the trampoline with her 144 times. And I said, "You're gross. That's gross."
I don't get it.
A gross is 144.
Oh, I don't get it.
Okay.
Yeah, is it really? I never heard it. I honestly have never heard that. Gross is 144.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you the
Yeah,
other
let's
joke.
try the silly one.
All right.
Maybe I'm not
Why-
as smart as I thought I was.
Why are pirates called pirates?
I don't know.
They just are.
Oh, yes. No, you get all of them.
Thank you.
Yes, it's great.
Everybody's moving.
All right, folks. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow to drink coffee and read news and talk about all the amazing things that you need to know to start your year or day. Whatever. I lost the out button. There it is. Obey. When's this fight happening? Beep, bop, beep, bop. The show is over. Call your mom.